Hi, welcome back to class, and we are moving on to Chapter 5. So, I, as you see, we're about a third way through the semester. So, things go pretty quick with this class, and I hope you're picking up some information and having a good time at the same time. It looks like everybody's on board with the discussions now. And I have to admit, you guys are doing better than most classes. So usually I set these up, and my way of doing these discussions usually has a few people scratching their heads for a while about how this works. But I hope you see what's going on. What we're doing is we're having these discussions bleed into each other. And that way, as the class progresses, we're not just moving on from one topic to the other. Hopefully there's some kind of flow to our discussions. And, I try to have our topics pick back and draw back from earlier weeks. So although I'm not doing this class the way some of you may be used to with an online class where we have PowerPoints and I read through the notes, I think this is a much better way. And I've had a lot more success in past classes by doing it this way, where you're self-guided with your reading. But we do have the help of, these crash course videos, which I'm using. And I never used these before like this for a semester, but for this class, they seem to really go along with the chapters very well. And that way you don't have to hear my voice all the time. You get to hear someone else, and I hope it's working for you. But we'll have a chance to get back at that and revisit that and see how it is working. So you could let me know. Maybe in the next week or two, I'll have a little place for you to put some input on the class. So this week, as we go through, we're going to look at deviance and social control. And deviance is easy to lump this into just looking at crime, but I think there's a more fun way of discussing this. So we're going to look at crime, but we're also going to look at the idea of breaching. So that's doing something a little different. And in the first week discussion, some of you discussed the idea of putting your hands up at a dinner table. Well, this might be a good week to actually try that out in your house and, do something different, break a norm and write about it. And if you don't want to do that, you can write about a norm that you've seen broken or you may have broken in the past. But we're going back and we're going forward at the same time with this class. I hope you're getting that. So this week, you're going to, again, respond to the Chapter 4 discussion threads. And again, there's 2 different threads, so you're going to have minimum of 3 responses for each one. And so there'll be 6 responses total. You're going to read Chapter 5. Then we have 3 crash course videos for this week. And then there's a video on breaching and a link on breaching experiments. And so the do nothing video is one that when I'm offering this class face-to-face, I have my class go out and do this. And it's actually quite fun. If some of you are in a situation where you're together. I know there's a couple of people from some schools that are the same. Maybe you can get together and do this with 2 of you, and maybe you could talk some of your friends into jumping in. But it's a fun little experiment. And basically you see what happens when you do nothing, which is odd to do. And so I want you to watch that video, and hopefully it gives you some motivation to try it. It's fun. There's a Dropbox 5 assignment that's due this week, and that's going to be where you're going to look at some external sources. So you're going to look at maybe an FBI site, or there's a couple other suggested sites you're going to look at and get some information. The reason we're doing this is because when you're in a sociology class or another social science class, you have to do papers. There's one for this class, but you have to evaluate websites that you're pulling information from. Generally, government websites are very good, or websites from certain nonprofits. but when you're using them, they should have strong information on them. Up until now, we've had some pretty good luck with government websites, but there are some attempts sometimes by people in power to change information or limit what's out there. But you're going to evaluate some websites here and see what's going on with them. And some of them are just sections of websites, so you'll have a choice of which one you do. There's 2 initial posts to discussion 5. And again, this is where you're going to discuss some kind of norm that was violated, possibly by you. And hopefully, like I said, I have you motivated to try to do a breaching exercise. They're quite fun. And I'm going to erase this here because we're not going to watch the Crash Course 17 video. I have no idea why that's there. My mistake. So I'll fix that. Then we're going to do the knowledge review quiz, number 5. And then make sure you complete the first 4 chapters Dropbox. Let's do the end of this week. And when we're doing this, what we're doing is we're incrementally building the base for your paper that's due at the end of the semester. And again, at the end of the semester, you're writing a sociological biography. So if I was writing one about myself, I'd be discussing the fact that, I'd use the first few chapters. So I talk about culture. So you can tell by my spelling my last name, I'm Italian American, so I would discuss that. But I also have family that immigrated from Trinidad and Tobago, and I have family that came from Russia, so they were Jewish immigrants from Russia, and they came all before the 1920s. And so I would discuss how some of the cultures from my family may explain some of who I am to this day. I would also get into some social groups that I belong to and some subcultures. I'm a big fan of punk rock, so I'd probably discuss that a little bit and how that subculture influences my life. And that's just some examples. So you have 4 chapters you're going to be writing about, and you're just going to go forward with that. But you're all unique, and so you have different things from society that has built you. A big idea from this class is that your social world helps create you. Your family, your the groups of people you're around, your school, your networks, your friends. They all help to be pivots in your life and change who you are and build you up as a person. Hopefully build you up. Some of those things can tear you down sometimes, but you're going to build a discussion about yourself. Here's a link to the breaching experiment. You're going to discuss the breaching experiment, the discussion on social deviance. You're going to click here, and then you'll have the discussion on that. And then here is our Dropbox. The quiz will be up. And again, those first 4 chapters, I got into that and walked away for some reason. But when you discuss the first 4 chapters, this is for you. So I want you to have some base to write your paper with later on. There'll be one due in a few weeks on the next 4 chapters, and then one on the last, the conclusion of the book. Then you're going to throw these together and compile it into who you are. And I think you'll have a very interesting paper at the end without a whole bunch of work. I try to walk the line of having the class be informative and have you grow, but also be something that's fun and self-reflective. So hopefully you understand what we're trying to get at here. If you have any questions, make sure you email me. It's better to have a question at the beginning of this assignment, this process, than at the end. I want each and every one of you to do really good on this. I pride myself on being open and being able to answer questions. So if you have one, please ask it. Because the benefit is not just for you. If you are questioning something, that means other people probably have the same question, and I can answer it for everybody. And hopefully clear it up. So again, have a great week, and if you have any questions, make sure you get back to me. Thank you.